Tim Alton here again. We're going to do some hat patches, and so I've drawn a design that you can leave an empty spot for a brand. The one that I'm going to be carving, I threw an extra little turn back with an acanthus and a couple of stickers on it because I'm going to put my maker's mark in this small corner here. And so both of these are going to be available to download for free on the website. So let's go ahead and wet up our leather and we'll start transferring our pattern. So we're going to go ahead and trace this on. We're just going to go with our stem work. We're not going to mark our border because we're going to just come back and cut that with our easy border tool. You know, this pattern probably would double as a card wallet pattern. Check and see if we missed anything. Looks like a little spot there. Looks like we got the rest of it. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and set our border up on our easy border tool that we produce and you can get on the website if you haven't seen it in the other videos. So the cool thing about the easy border is you can come back and cut your border, and when you have elements that come out of the border, you can just go from line to line and your whole border lines up in a square. Drop my thumb down there, that way I don't go too far. Okay. So now that we got that cut, before I take all the time in the world to cut this thing out and tool it, I'm going to go ahead and put my maker's mark in it here. So every once in a while, you bounce this thing, and no sense in carving something out if your stamp doesn't look very good. I'd recommend getting a stamp that's taller than this, but I happen to cut this one in half to make a stamp out of the other side of it. That'll do. My buddy Pat always says, feel free to cut it better than I drew it. And so when you're tracing, or just working on my lines, if it isn't perfect, feel free to cut it a little bit smoother. A lot of times I don't draw my patterns on paper, I draw them directly on the leather because my tracing is a lot rougher than my drawing. But you can always clean it up with your swivel knife. These real long scrolls generally just turn the work under my blade. There we have all our swivel knife work done. We're ready to start beveling. Just gonna go ahead and put some tape on here so it doesn't stretch out when we tool this. Okay. So we are ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and use our lifters first. Put those in our turnbacks, and the lifter is used in the same way that the beveler is, that the front of it, the front being the curved part, goes towards the element. So if you're, yeah, so the element that you're doing is the top line of that turn back. We're going to open that up there. Let's see, do this little guy here. Here. So now go down to our number 1 beveler. Let's start working our way across this thing. Normally I'd use my small beveler everywhere I need it, but we're going to be switching back and forth. That way I can tool elements in their entirety, just for the sake of showing you how each one goes. Taper off here. Switch back to our number 1. Go ahead and do the front of this sticker here. And just tip our tool around to the side. We can make it around that tighter radius. I'll make sure and roll that sticker on the back of that acanthus to where it comes around, same flow as everything else. Recommend doing a couple of these at a time, that way you can tape them together like all the other small projects. Be easier to hold. Do the fronts of these guys. Might as well go for the smaller Beveler here. Now we're ready to start on our flower. Okay, now that we got all of our elements, we're going to go ahead and bevel the border and use our large Beveler. That way we can knock some stuff down and make some tracks. Okay, now that we got that done, I'm gonna go ahead and do some background on this. It's a brand new Berry King background, or here's a little trick. If it's pulling out little seeds, take it to a dry piece of leather. Break your tool in a little bit. Ready to go. Once again, we're kind of going with the angle of the stickers and the elements as they come off. And I'm going to leave the part that has my maker's mark open. That way you can see it. So that's not going to get backgrounded. So we're going to start out with our smooth thumbprint here. I'm just going to go with the flow of the pattern here. I'm going to start out in this corner in our little double turn back. I'm going to roll out of that turn back there, kind of give it some texture. Come in from this side of the turn back, give it shading, and then this little seed bud, this bud I'm going to take and turn it the opposite direction of most of the stickers. It's going to be pointing towards that. You can just hit it down pretty deep so it puts some color there. We're going to come back with a lifter and open that up. So then we're going to come to this side, roll out of our turn back, roll around our stickers,
these acanthuses, you can kind of roll around the front side like it was a sticker, and then put one in the back of that S curve and roll around. And then you can just kind of lightly jump up and over, soften that hill there. Come out of this lifted area in this turn back. Do the same thing right here. Roll around there. Got our little seed bud. Mirror our acanthus here with our small end, pull it down. Roll around that side. Pull those out. Okay. Well, we got our smooth thumbprint in our hand. Go ahead and shade the tips of these flowers here. Then we're going to switch to our vertical line thumbprint. We're going to shade around our flower center. Some radiating lines. Sometimes if you put just a little bit more water right here, or a lot in that case, and get more color. Don't need quite so much water. Got a little happy with the sponge there. Remember to keep room in between your thumbprint and the edge of the flower. That way you create that depth right there. Okay, so now we're going to come back with our Vayner. Go with the dominant side for our petals. Create a little depth there. We're also going to use it right here in the corner of our acanthus, where it comes into the sticker. And we'll go ahead and use it on this acanthus as well. Just create some depth right there in those corners. Looks pretty nice. So once we've done that, we're going to put our lined Vayner just right there to create a little depth. That's all we're going to do. Come back with our small lifter. open up these. Seed buds. I'm going to come back with our mule's foot in these spots. Just going to go right down the middle of that bud. Usually I'll put a couple right by the acanthus there. Go ahead and put one on each side. There. And then I'll just use it where there's some converging lines coming together. I'll do a little set of 3, lighten up as you go down. You don't want to overuse this tool. It doesn't look very good when you do. Okay. Do our flower center and then dress cuts and we're good to go. So we're going to do our lined seed from Berry King. Once again, we're going to roll around the outside, kind of pushing that corner in towards the flower center. Just kind of fit them next to one another. Just like so. And if you tip them to the side, when you overlap as you come around, if you tip them forward, you overlap as you come around, then you're not cutting off and mashing the next row, and it looks a little nicer. Okay, next we're ready for our dress cuts. Start with the flower and work our way out. Okay, so now we're going to do our deco cuts on our scroll work. I'm going to come in here, do some shading lines coming out there, shade coming out of there, just kind of try to create shadow as that ribbon's coming around. Same thing over here. Want these dress cuts to fall into one another. They're all kind of have the same flow. They're all coming to the same place, tapering off. A little short one in the front. Long one in the back, almost touches at the tip. And if you can rotate your work, it's It's a lot easier to get smooth lines. If you're relying just on your hand alone, or your arm strength and steadiness, might not be the best. So here we're just going to do a little S-curve. A little guy like that. Short front. We're actually going to go ahead and shade this intersection where these guys are coming under with our smooth thumbprint. Create a little depth there. We can create some cross-hatching here to create a shadow that's casting from going underneath there. If you want to look up how to shade stuff, look at engraving books. Lots of techniques you can use that engravers use. Shade coming out of here. I think that'll work. Well, thanks for stopping by. I hope you liked this video. It was a fun project. If you'd like to see more of our videos, be sure to subscribe, like our page, like our videos. You can check us out on Instagram and also our website, leathercraftingschool.com. See you next time.